Assalamualaikum and a very good day I wish to all of you. Welcome to our forum for this week's Inside the Mind. As we know, the learning system nowadays is more flexible due to the spread of COVID-19 pandemic to the world. Therefore, the topic to be discussed today is education in universities. And here we try to explain the questions that play in the minds of people, especially students. Today, we'll talk about the quite interesting topic of university students should be allowed to choose their own subject. I am sure that every one of us has our own opinion and thoughts on this topic. So before we proceed to our forum, I would like to introduce our panelists today. Our first panelist is Tan Sri Professor Mohammed Zulhilmi bin Armain, a lecturer from University Malaya. How are you today, Tan Sri?
I'm fine. Thank you, Miss Alia.
Next, we have Professor Dr. Nur Saada binti Muhammad Aris, a lecturer at University Technology Mara as our second panel, and Amy Azrin, a student representative council member at University Technology Mara as our third panel. Our fourth panelist will be Dr. Zarif bin Ismadi, and finally, we have Dr. Fatin Fatiha binti Ghazali, a well-educated celebrity. So before we start our forum in detail, let me explain our topic today. As we know that education is very important because it helps people become better citizens and get jobs with better pay. However, there are many things happening in our country recently. One of the major issues that has always been a serious and protected issue for so long is that most recent graduates are still unemployed. If the situation continues, we will suffer huge losses as they are unable to meet their maximum potential due to lack of opportunities in our job market. And this worries the future of our country. As a result, some of our new graduates had to work in fields unrelated to the studies they were doing at university. They must accept the position because it is the only way for them to survive in an unstable economy with the rising prices of essential goods. So, the purpose of this discussion is to share useful and interesting ideas and thoughts which will be presented by our panel today. I am confident that each of our panel has their own thoughts and opinions regarding this topic. So without wasting our time, let us hear the opinion from our first panel. What is your opinion, Chansi Ruhilmi?
Hello, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank TV7 for the invitation to join this discussion. It is an honor for me to participate in this forum discussion with all the professional panelists. I agree with the statement because I believe that since they are adults, we should offer them the option to select their own destinies. In my opinion, this kind of opportunity will encourage students to do some research and get to know more details about their career path. They will need to put some effort before making their own judgment as it will determine their future. As we know, most of our youngsters did not even care about the courses that had been offered and just accept them. Doing this kind of thing will hopefully raise our student awareness about the courses available and prevent them from accepting them blindly with no knowledge. Students will have better exposure to their career path and will be able to identify the core subject that will help them to obtain their desired jobs. This will help them to develop a specific plan to accomplish their main goal.
Alright, Tan Sri Zuhilmi, what makes you think that giving students the freedom to make their own choices will help them?
I believe by doing this, students can avoid taking subjects that are irrelevant to their courses because some of the elective subjects that were offered were previously learned in school and are already in the general knowledge of most of our students. For me, elective subjects just increase the workload for students and some of them have nothing to do with the working practices, which just waste time and increase the students' burden. If the number of subjects is reduced, students will have fewer credit hours required to complete a course, which will allow them to focus on more relevant subjects and graduate faster than the expected time. I believe by removing such subject would see university merely serve as platform to train students to join the workforce despite innovation and creativity being two skills that are highly valued by employees in the job market. That's all from me. Thank you, Miss Alia.
Thank you, Tan Sri Zuhilmi. So from your explanation, you strongly agree that students should choose their own subject, right? Now, let's move on to Professor Saada.
Thank you very much, Miss Alia, for your enlightening speech. I am totally disagree with students should be allowed to choose their own subject because students should not applying subjects in university based on their interest only. Students' knowledge and interest should be expanded by exposing them to other fundamental subjects. Letting students study only subjects of their own interest will result in students not knowing the development or basic knowledge of other subjects. As a result, students will not receive adequate education and knowledge. At the end, they will remain in the same cohort and will be unable to broaden their knowledge.
All right, so Professor Saada, why should students not choose courses they want by only following their interest?
Our interest in some courses at university sometimes does not guarantee what will be profitable in the future. We sometimes need to learn a subject that we do not even have an interest in order to survive in this world. There will be subjects that students criticize more than others, but they are still necessary and must be discovered for their own benefits. Sacrificing to learn something that is not just based on our interests will sometimes give more job opportunities to students who will graduate later.
Thank you, Professor Saada. That was a really great point to be said. Now, let us hear the opinion from Datuk Fatin.
Thank you to our beautiful moderator, Miss Alia. I agree with this statement because students are allowed to choose their own subject, but they must follow the guide from the university. In my opinion, choosing a course of study will seem simple when the student have a definite interest in the career field of their choice. As a result, when a student chooses a subject appropriately for their field, they can both benefit from and enjoy their university experience. But students should be aware that subjects at the undergraduate level differ significantly from those at the school level. Therefore, it is preferable if the subject is chosen by the institutions because it has an acceptable structure and is related to the field being studied. This is because each institution choose the topic major for a course, but students have the option to select elective from a list that has been developed based on the appropriate field.
So, Datuk Fatin, why do you have two side points of view?
Thank you, Miss Alia, for the question. Okay, by choosing the correct subject, give the student a chance to explore their areas of interest. When students genuinely enjoy the chosen course, as well as the subject that they have picked on their own, learning will be easier. This demonstrates that the student already has a direction in mind for his future career. But in certain courses, the institution has developed a schedule that students must follow as a minor subject outside of their major field of study. This will help university students learn more and advance their knowledge. In the future, I believe this strategy will be beneficial. That's all. I'll pass back to our moderator. Thank you.
Thank you, Datuk Fatin, for your opinion. So, Amy Azrin, what about your point of view on this topic?
Thank you, Miss Alia. In my opinion, I agree that students should be allowed to choose their own subject because they will study more comfortably and be able to perform in the examination. It will be easy for them to concentrate and work hard so as to excel in the subject. They will spend a lot of their time studying and researching more on the chosen subject. They will understand the subject very well because it is what they are interested in. They will be more eager to attend classes and also put a lot of effort in their studies and get good results as they are comfortable and confident with the subject. Hence, they will get better marks or good pointers based on subject that they have chosen. This will give satisfaction to students and their lecturer as well.
All right, Amy Azurin, as a student, right? So, is it necessary to give the opportunity to students to choose their own subject or course?
From my point of view, Giving opportunity to students is necessary. Like I said before, students can perform well in that subject. If students get the opportunity to choose their subjects, learning will become more interesting for them. In addition, there are students who have talents in many other fields. Therefore, this proposed change in the education system will allow them to enhance their knowledge in a wide variety of subjects and polish their talents. For instance, if we include some arts and cultural subjects in engineering courses, this would pave the way for them to explore other fields. Nevertheless, this will affect the focus and ruin the quality of education. Thank you, Miss Alia.
Thank you, Emi Azrin. That was a really great point to be said. Next, let's move to Dr. Zarif to talk about his opinion regarding this topic.
Thank you, Miss Alia. I think that students should not be allowed to choose their own subject. By not allowing students to choose their subject, we let them keep their option open and give them a range of transferable skills to offer employers.
So, Dr. Zarif, why do you think this will help them in the future?
In my opinion, first they need to understand basic subjects, for they will help students in real life. Besides, if they take only their favorite subject, they will not get enough education and knowledge. They should be exposed to subjects that have nothing to do with their field. For example, like third language such as Mandarin and Arabic. This will further increase their knowledge of a subject and will help them when they have worked later. Too much freedom will make them less disciplined. There will be subjects that students will enjoy less than others, but they are still necessary and it's for their own good that they learn these things. Other than that, students should learn the basic knowledge of different subjects. If students just select their own subject, they do not know about the world totally. They should be exposed to other knowledge and within their interests, so they can select more specific subject in future. Thank you, Miss Alia.
Thank you, Dr. Zarif, for the opinion that you just said earlier. We are now done with our first session and we will take a break and get back to our second session after the advertisement.
I'll be there forever. You and me together. I believe in miracles. Believe I'm in love. I believe in dreams. Yeah. They do come. I feel good. I believe in miracles.
Welcome back to our forum session. Now, we will proceed to our second session, which is the counter-argument part. So, does anyone have any additions to each opinion that has been given by each panel? Can we start with Dr. Zarif? Do you have any different perceptions?
Thank you, Miss Alia. Based on my point of view, I partially agree with what has been said by Tan Sri Zulhilmi. But for me, students are allowed to choose their subject. Of course, it will cost too many students in a given place. Like we know, every course that has been offered has their quota. So we cannot just put all of them in one place. Therefore, there are various additional subjects that can help them make choices other than just focusing on selected subjects only. That's all for me. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Zarif. Next, we move on to Tan Sri Zuhilmi.
Thank you, Miss Alia. I have a different point of view from the point that has been pointed out by Professor Sada, in which I think we should try to strengthen our national education system by educating students on subjects that are completely relevant to their courses. University students need to focus on subjects linked to their courses because this will help them develop the skills needed to fill the job vacancies in their career scope. I believe we should do everything we can to help students complete their studies quicker than the expected time and enter the labor market immediately. That's all from me. Thank you.
Sorry for interrupting. I agree with Tan Sri Zuhim's statement. I have some additional information. Former Youth and Sport Minister Sadiq Abdul Rahman say university students should be allowed to choose subjects that were more relevant to the courses that they were studying. This will benefit our students as they could spend more time attending training programs that will improve their skills. And at the same time, they can obtain work experience by beginning their employment immediately after graduation. That's all.
Thank you, Tan Sri Zuhimi and Datuk Fatin for the additional information. Let's move on to Professor Saada. Did you have any perceptions about the idea that has been brought on?
Again, thank you so much, Miss Aya, for the great question. According to my way of thinking, students should not be allowed to choose their subjects in university openly. As a teenager who is aged between 18 to 24 years old, they should already be able to decide their own direction for the future. The university itself has provided a structured field of study for Malaysian students. They should not only follow their own instinct by applying for courses that are only based on their interests, but do some research about what subjects they can learn in order to have better job scope in the future.
Sorry for interrupting again. I agree with Professor Saada's statement. In my opinion, the university assigns students courses so that they can appreciate philosophy, values, and history. Additionally, students are encouraged to develop their soft skills because they will be necessary for success in the workplace in the future. Students can also enhance their understanding of Malaysia's economic, politics, and society. Last but not least, practical community management skills such as service community and curriculum activities. For me, whether a student make their own decisions or the institutions make a decision, both are good options. However, we all know that every option has advantages and disadvantages. Actually, these two things are not wrong. So in the current situation, we must think creatively and think more outside the box so that good thing can be applied to students.
All right. Thank you, Professor Saada, and again, Datuk Fatin. We move to our last panelist, Amy Azrin. Anything you want to say about other panel's opinion?
Thank you, Miss Alia. I have a different point of view from Dr. Zarif's opinion. I think our education system in this country need to be reformed as to give opportunity to students in order for them to choose their own subject. The problem with our current education system is that students are spending too much time in classes that will get them nowhere and not enough time in classes that will actually help them in life and their careers. Students should be able to choose their own subject because it would prepare them better for the real world. Students would have more motivation to learn and attend classes if they were able to choose their own subject instead of being required to take certain subjects in order to graduate. When students have the ability to choose what they would like to learn about, it makes them more eager to engage with the material. That is why I stick with my opinion that students should be allowed to choose their own subject. At least, students get the chances to determine what subjects they want to learn. That's all from me. Thank you.
Sorry for interrupting. I do support Amy Azurin's point, as I believe we need to prepare students better for the real world. We should not confuse education with training for skills development. I think universities are meant to be the guardians for students to develop knowledge and give an education that completes a person. We strictly need to stop treating students like a factory with busy schedule that need to be fulfilled. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you to all our panelists today. Finally, we have come to the end of our forum where we have shared a lot of knowledge that we didn't even know or thought about before. Well, from what all our panelists shared just now, as a result of our comparisons today, based on the discussion, I can sum up that our government should pay special attention to this serious issue concerning our recent graduates because they are our country's future, right? So, students were also expected to be aware of the courses that they would take and are currently taking in order to enhance their knowledge of the field that is relevant to their works, as this will help to show them a clear path to reach their goals. So, that's all for today. I would like to thank all of the panelists for giving a lot of information and also thank all audiences for joining this forum. See you next time. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.